Right, hang on a minute. Should be live. Maybe. Let's move the mic a bit closer so I'm not getting drowned out by the car. As soon as I make sure that the live stream's actually working, it will begin. I'm just trying to see now if it is working. Right, I think it is working. It should be live. Howdy, everyone, and welcome to my first attempt of doing the Nurburgring 24 hours on Gran Turismo 7's Power Pack. I've been dreading this a little bit. I saw it come up when I did all of the main campaign of the Power Pack, and then I saw that there were these 4 secret races that showed up. And now I am slightly scared, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm not going to do it in one sitting, because I don't want to completely kill myself, and I've got a couple of other things I want to do today. So instead what we're going to do is just do at least 2 or 3 stints, I think. Probably the best thing about this particular one is that it's not going to be too repetitive because the laps are so long. It's not like doing... I've just finished like the 8 hours of Spa the other day. That one took a fair amount of time, obviously. I did it in about 4 separate chunks. I was doing about 2 hours every time I jumped into it. And that got repetitive because you're in Group 2 cars around Spa, which is a decently length track, but you're still lapping it every 2 minutes. It's quite repetitive by that point, particularly obviously when you've got no driver swaps, you have to do the whole 8 hours. This one will be alright. I think this is in the region of like 175 laps, something like that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It should be okay. You might be able to tell by the noise and the little bit that you can see that I'm in the Ferrari. I was considering using the Merc because when I did the Nurburgring branch for this bit of the Power Pack, I used the Mercedes for the GT3 race, because I like the fact that I'm more used to driving the Mercedes. Obviously the Ferrari is a very new car, and because they took a bit of power out of the Mercedes, it was actually nicer to drive when accelerating because it didn't spin the wheels up as much. But I'm going to drive the Ferrari because I think it'll be better on its tyres. It'll be better around here just because it's a twisty track. The other thing it might lack is the straight line speed, but even then, this thing's got nearly 100 more horsepower than the Mercedes. So yeah, I'm a little bit boring because I chose the best car for this, but I'm not too bothered about the bonus that you get for doing it in a more difficult car. And fair play to anyone who does it in the Audi, because the Audi looks really slow, because it's only got about 403 horsepower, and I think it's the heaviest out of the 3. And from previous history driving that Audi in like just on general online races, not even sport mode races, just online races for a bit of fun, that Audi murders its rear tyres. And there's one thing that I hate, is an oversteery car. So we're going to drive the Ferrari. It seems to be quite balanced. Hopefully it is similar to the 458, because I actually really like that. That's probably my favourite mid-engined Group 3 car. But we're going to fast forward qualifying now, because we're going to start from the back. If I'm going to use the hardest car, I might as well make it a challenge for myself and do it from the back. So just bear with me one sec whilst I check the audio is okay. Right, seems to be all working fine. Yeah, I'm going to apologise now, before this starts, if I go very quiet at certain points, because obviously it's a fairly long race. We're going to do probably at least an hour and a half for this, in this first sitting. And yeah, we're gonna take it easy. We're gonna do this semi-seriously, but not completely go overboard with making it annoying for myself. I'm just trying to see if I can get my thumbnail uploaded, because I haven't done that. I am a bit new to streaming. I've done a bit of streaming before, but this is the first one on this channel. I don't expect it to do that well. There'll be something for the memory bank, this, just for my own personal thing. So there might be some people watching. I do have the chat up just in case someone does talk. Just because I feel like just engaging is going to keep me going in this. So let me go to my stuff. I hate that you just can't skip qualifying. Because I wish that I could just skip forward through this. But I think there isn't a way to do it without like retiring, obviously. So I just have to bear with. I'm going to try. If I go to YouTube Studio, 1 sec. I'm trying to make this look professional. See, I don't know why. It's coming up on the desktop. It's not coming up on my phone, which is the annoying thing. Don't know why. So when I go to, like, show me live streams, it's not showing it to me. Now it's just told me that my YouTube Studio just crashed, which is fun. Is the stream still going? I think it should be. Are we almost there yet? It's taking ages just to go through this. Let me save this to the playlist as well. I don't know. I'll sort the live stream stuff out when I'm done, because it's not going to matter too much, really. And everyone and their mum has done this thing already where they've live streamed themselves doing these endurance races. So it's not like anyone who watches this is going to be missing out on the content. So just looking at the car list as well, it seems that we've got a nice variation of cars. But the confusing thing for me is that obviously these cars aren't what they're like bought, because they're all a little different. They're all using their maximum performance, I think. So it will be different compared to like a daily race or something like that. Alright, here we go. Is it raining? It doesn't look like it's raining. %50 chance of rain. That's a pretty decent chance. Car settings. Put me on hards. I'm gonna go for a lengthy stint here. Right, here we go. The end is nigh because 2 more races left in the power pack, and then I have once again completed all of the single player stuff in Gran Turismo. Well, having said that, I just need to get 1 more car, and then that's it. So, it's only 2 races, but they are the longest 2 races in the game, so... Be emotional, because then I don't know how much more they're going to do to this game before they start developing GT8 properly. There I am. I don't think I'm going to fuel save, not until I get into the lead. I think I'm going to fuel save then. But this Ferrari is very alien to me. I don't know how it's going to perform at all. Well, already right on the back of the 4C. Oh yeah. So yeah, you can tell it's using... It's not on bop this, it's using almost 600 horsepower, this Ferrari. It's a very quick car, and that's what was making me a little hesitant to use it, because it will wheel spin quite a lot on old tyres. But as long as I short shift, should be fine. It does make a nice sound, this Ferrari. This is only the 2nd time I've driven it. The only other time I did was the Abu Dhabi circuit experience. But it is quite a nice car, this. Oh, that's deep. Just to get the weather radar up so I can see. You were early on the brakes there. This is not where I want to be, on the outside of another car. Oh, he's just squeezed me onto the grass. Thanks for that. Around the outside of him for the 2nd time. From what I remember, these should be about 8-minute laps. So we're not really going to do that many laps per stint. So it'll be interesting to see how the fuel looks. Oh, okay. Yeah, so when you've got a lot more speed going up that hill, you do tend to lift off a little bit more over that crest. So look at fuel. So we've predicted 8.5 laps, which is a little bit of an awkward number because I kind of wish we had enough for 9 laps just to take us a little bit further. But I mean, hey, we can fuel save later.
So this is probably the hardest race in the game, I think, because obviously it's the Nordschleife in cars that are probably, even by today's standards, I think the GT3s are a little bit too quick for the Nordschleife with how wide it is in certain places. If you ever watch the real 20,000 Nurburgring, you'll know what I mean. Is like, you come up on slower cars than GT3s very quickly. Nice wheel spin there. So, as well, the curbs around here are terrible, because this is one of the only tracks in the game where you can't ride the curbs, so you've got to be really precise with your driving. Something which on a controller I'm not very good at, but we've got 24 hours to get used to it, so yeah, we've got so much more straight line speed compared to these guys, but there's not really a whole lot of room. And surprisingly, we're all being held up by a Ford GT, which should be one of the faster cars in a straight line. Oh, why would you go for it there? Oh, hit the Mazda, but carousel, always a corner that I struggle with, trying to actually just stay on the banking. You can see there, yeah, they just get such a better exit than me. It already looks like it's going to rain, but I just checked the radar. It didn't look like it was actually that close to the circuit, but God, the instability on those curbs is scary. I can already see a few spins happening throughout this race. Just going to take it easy for now and then slowly build the confidence up. Right, we should gain a bit of time down here with our better straight line speed. Right, we can relax for a little bit as well. Seems to actually be a change of position up front. This is the problem with letting you use all of the power from a GT3 car, is that the gear ratios in the game are not suited to actually use all of the power. So now I'm just sat here revving out in 6th gear, and I could have probably had use for a 7th gear. first lap done of 170 something. So we're getting there, slowly getting there. I think this is one of the... I think this car was on provisional pole. I don't know if it got beaten. I think it did. Oh, okay. Minimal space given, but... Actually, I've just seen that surprisingly the Merc is in the lead. It's not the other Ferrari. I'm actually surprised that hards are doing really well. Considering the length of the lap, the hard tyres are nice. They've barely worn out over that whole first lap. Yeah, right. So I've already caught up to the back of them, and it's been a lap. Maybe I should have done this in the Merc, but... it's getting a bit sunnier. Right, we should have him down here. Even in third gear there, just still losing the back end. Well, we're in the lead. Now it's time to run away. Probably should have put mediums on, to be honest. I think they could actually do this. Considering that we're only going to be able to do 7 laps at this rate. I need to get in the groove though, because I'm not driving as good as I could be. This bit just looks so ready to downpour. Like the rain is just like hanging in the air around this bit. Just check the radar. So yeah, it's like nowhere near the track. I do want to set some decent pace, but I need to remind myself to not go absolutely mental. 24 hours I've got to build time over the cars behind. The only problem that I have is, obviously because you didn't catch the start of the stream, if I'm doing this in segments, I'm not going to do the whole 24 hours in one go. But I might struggle to actually build a gap over the field because, obviously because the lap is so long, every time that I leave and then come back, they're just going to be right on my tail again. And, I mean, at the moment with the pace that I'm showing, I should be okay, touch wood. But that is a problem that I'm never going to really be able to put them a lap down. But having said that, there are some stragglers at the back of the grid who are really slow. Lift down there just to not get the front end lifting off the ground as much. I have a sip of Coke whilst I'm down here. Drive onto the grass as well whilst I've not got my hand on the controller. That always helps, you know. Just cools your tyres down a little bit, you see. It's a genius strategy. Right, an 8:07. I think we can go faster than that. Well, not with lines like that, we can't. Oh, I've just made turn 2, the world's tightest corner. I'm still up. Still an improvement, I'll take that. I don't know if anyone else has found this to be the case on Gran Turismo, but when you're on a controller, shifting down into a gear lower than what you'd like actually helps the car's steering lock. I feel like the game, to try and balance the controller out with the wheel, has made it so that your steering lock is limited depending on what gear you're in. And that's kind of true to an extent in real life, in that the fact that if you're in a lower gear, the car rotates a little bit better because of the way that the diff and the gearbox works. But not to the extent of this, because I sometimes feel like I have no turning if I do some of these corners in third. But then when I've got a second, I feel like I've actually got a lot more front end grip. But maybe it's just like a placebo thing, because that's just my driving style, and that's me subconsciously thinking, alright, yes, I've actually got the grip to take this corner now. But I don't know. It's just something that I thought when I was properly taking this game seriously with league racing and stuff. Something I found in, like, especially the bigger cars, like the GT3 Beamer and the Lexus, they really benefit from having extra rotation. So anything you can do just helps those cars out so much. I'm kind of driving this Ferrari the same way, but it feels like it doesn't really need it. And the only thing that I'm doing is really risking spinning on corner exit because I'm just making the car wheel spin more by being in the lower gear. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was almost... In real life, that would have been curtains nearly if I'd have lost that. It's where the Dacia Logan in real life crashed at the footplats. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that corner. I don't really know how to pronounce German words. But yeah, it's where the Dacia Logan crashed with an Aston Martin, I think it was. So yeah, the Aston Martin really didn't have a good race here last year, did they? Because they had one of them crash into the Logan, and both of those cars were written off. And then they had it when the Manti car that was leading crashed into one of them at Miss Hit Miss. And obviously that one flipped over and that one was out of the race. So it wasn't a great race for Aston Martin last year. But I don't know, I don't know if Aston Martin has a GT3 car, because I mean I didn't see it last year because obviously it was all about BMW and Porsche last year, and then the occasional Lamborghini having its cute moment where it kept crashing into other cars. I think it was the Lamborghini with Boccalacci, was it Boccalacci and Juncadella, something like that. I know Juncadella for definite was driving because he was the one who got penalised for his Code 60 incident. But yeah, I don't know if Aston Martin have a GT3 program. Well, their GT4 program really didn't go well last year. And on that topic, actually, this race could be improved in Gran Turismo. Is that if it was a multi-class race, so you had GT3s and GT4s in the same field, but then I feel like having 10 cars per class probably isn't enough for Gran Turismo, so then they'd have to up the size for like the amount of AI you can have in a race. It's quite a bit of work, but I think it would make it cool. I think if they definitely do something for GT8, make the grid sizes bigger. Because even though Gran Turismo is supposed to be a car game, it does like GT3 racing. It does focus on that a lot, so I feel like different types of GT racing with multi-class action and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of the stuff around Super GT is like multi-class, and Super GT is one of the main focuses for a Japanese-based car game, so make it happen, Polyphony. There. This section's so satisfying if you get it right, but I often don't. Especially in a car that I'm still not 100% sure about. Yeah, we have lost a bit of time through there because we were almost 2 seconds up and now we're only about 9/10. So we have lost a bit of time, but it's all about chipping the time away. Seeing as I've now got into the lead, I think my goal for this race over the 24 hours is to get a sub 8-minute lap time, because that'll be a big achievement for me because I don't think I've ever done that. Even in cars that I use around here in sport modes, like the cars that I actually prefer driving over this Ferrari, I don't think I've ever done a sub 8-minute lap time. So I'd like to do that by the end. But I'm not going to do it with lines like that. I can't remember. I mean, what the guys do in real life. I think Verstappen, didn't he do like a 7-minute 40 something around here? Like, I can't even imagine going that quick around there in this car as well. But I think he's using a different. Obviously, he was using a box setup because it was an actual race, official sanctioned race. It wasn't just a race like this where it's got no regulations. But yeah, I have no idea how to even get anywhere near that time, and I've got a car advantage over him, so shows you how quick that lap was. This car gets airborne a lot of the time around the lap. There's like several moments where you're holding your breath and hoping you don't die. Right, better through there. I feel like I might be a little bit better if I bring the brake bias forwards a little bit. So, as I said, I do prefer a bit of understeer in my cars. So this thing's just a little bit loose on the rear end for my liking. So hopefully bringing the brake bias forwards a little bit helps me just build a bit of confidence and trust in the rear end. Although it's not really rear locking that's the issue, it's more putting the power down. But hopefully if the car is more understeer prone in the corner entry, hopefully that helps me a little bit. I'll tell you what though, it is nice doing this after doing an 8-hour race at Spa, because Spa's one of my favourite tracks in the world, but even then I was getting a little bit tired of how repetitive it was. So it's nice to move on to a new race. And plus the Nurburgring is one of the tracks that I'd like to get better at, so this is just free practice. Although I bet I'm not saying that by the end of the race, I bet I'll be sick of it just as much as I was with Spa. Absolutely destroyed my gearbox going around that corner because it was revving the nuts off of it in 5th gear going around that curved braking zone. It's got a little bit sunnier now, so it actually makes seeing the corners a little bit easier because there was a bit of fog up at the top. I think it's called Hoa Arct. Is it like the highest point? There was a bit of fog around there and it actually made it quite difficult to see the corners. I only stopped braking so late for that corner. Now there still is a bit of smoke around here, but I think that's more the game's idea of like building an atmosphere. It makes it look like people are having barbecues by the side of the track, which is a very real thing. If you've ever seen fan footage of the Nurburgring 24 Hours, it is like a 24-hour rave by the side of the track. It is basically like an excuse for Germans to go and party whilst watching racing. Although having said that, have you heard, if anyone's heard about the stuff that happens at Bathurst, where they put in regulations in like the last 10 years where they limit the amount of alcohol you can bring to the track. And this information might be outdated because they might have updated it again, but what they did was, the first year that it was brought out, and this was in an episode of Top Gear, you might already know where this story's going. But what they did before they went to the track, well, before they went to the race, a couple of weeks before, they just started burying bottles of wine and alcohol in the dirt across the top of the mountain. Because then when the bags got searched, when they were trying to get into the event for the Bathurst 1000, they brought the legal amount of alcohol to the track, but then they just started digging up all the bottles of alcohol that they could remember where they'd put it. And that is the most Australian thing I think I've ever heard about motor racing. Whoa, back-end McGee round there. This is another cool thing about the Nurburgring, is that the weather's different around certain points of the track. That's what makes it interesting for when... They say it's a 50% chance of rain in the race that I've got. And if it starts raining... Oh no! My purple lap is in tatters as soon as I started talking in a braking zone. The cool thing about this is that it could start raining in a certain part of the lap, but you're just going to have to brave it out on slicks because the rest of the track's dry. And that's one of the cool things about longer tracks, is that they really do have separate weather and they have its almost microclimate. It would be cool if the game could simulate the hailstorm that happened in like 2016 or something like that. Because that would be fun. Whoa! Poo has gone everywhere around there. I think I've lost pretty much most of the time. I'm still somehow 6/10 up, but I think I've lost a lot of time through all that. Look at that, we're only half an hour into the race and we're already a minute ahead of second. And they're in the optimal cars as well. So yeah, the AI just struggle around this track. They're not quick. I think, isn't this the Sophie AI that they use for this? This is the version 3 of Sophie AI. It's still not quite refined, but it is better than the old AI. Although I did find that they do dive bomb you a lot, especially around the race at Spa. They just dive bomb you, which ain't that nice. Oh, I knew I was going to do that at some point in the race. Sometimes you think, oh well, the car's surely got enough understeer that if I turn in early enough, it's not going to hit that wall. And yes, I did. I've just proved that that does happen. It is getting a bit warm in my room as well. Oh my gosh. pins and needles in my right hand now. It's kind of overcast again around here. Whoa! Well, the wind direction, from what I can see, is actually pushing that rain away, so I don't think we're going to get any rain for the next few hours. Oh wow, a lot of time gained around there. I think that's because my carousel was a little bit better. Because I think the cooler track temperatures now that it's going overcast helps the tyres a little bit. Especially through here, because now they're not absolutely roasting. Although they will be after that burnout. Yeah, jeez, loads of time made up. Although I guess the big change in fuel loads around these laps does play a little bit of a role as well. I've done it again. I've gone wide there, mainly because I'm not in the right gear. Why am I not in third? I swear I shifted down again. That is another thing though, I think they've added downshift protections to this game. Could have been on the power earlier there, but it'll do. 3 seconds up, right, we're getting closer to that 7-minute 59 mark. The ABS helps me out so much through that final section because the amount of turning I'm getting just to try and keep it tight. Right, that was good. That was a good lap, that. Right, we can definitely get this 7-minute 59 lap in if we really try. Although I've cocked up the first chicane again. Well done, Finn. Yeah, I might struggle at this point because obviously I'm on older tyres, so... that was a good GP loop. Let's try and keep that pace going. Oh, you're joking me, aren't you? Oh, that's all the time gone. Nice, well done, Finn. I thought I'd short shifted enough to keep the traction stable. Clearly not. Right, okay, I think it's a bit better to keep it in sixth around that corner. Isn't it crazy how we've been on this lap for 3.5 minutes and there's still some people who aren't on the same lap as me? Why did I brake that much for that corner? That just really slowed me down for no reason. Oh, back end. What's the fuel looking like? Right. Oh, I've had a spin. This has not been a great lap. From doing a purple lap the last lap to now having 2 accidents on this lap, it's not been great. I am debating now whether I should just keep going on hards or actually switch to mediums at the first stop. Because even the hards are struggling. Hi. Exceeding track limits a little bit there, but we'll take it. One thing I don't understand is why do these races have no track limits? Because there's other races on the single player stuff that have penalties included, but this just doesn't. It's weird. Considering that this race is supposed to be like a challenge of how good you are at Gran Turismo. It's a bit weird that they don't have any rules. I remember this time last lap I was nearly a second up on that time, and now no. What? How have I lost so much time? Was it in that mini carousel where I just lost all of the... I've lost half of my benefit on this lap. That was so annoying because that was such a good lap until that, literally the last 2 corners that I've just done. Oh, and I've gone deep there. Nice one, Finn. Oh my god, I was like 1.4 seconds up at one point and now I was only 4/10 up.
I'm going to open a window. It's absolutely roasting. Oh, I never thought I'd have to open a window in the second week of January because it's too warm. But here we are. Oh,
and I've immediately gone wide. Isn't that lovely? Oh my god, only 23 hours to go. Easy that. I could do that. Whoa. Right, that was a bit faster. I hate that I'm going faster this lap when I've got a pit. So now I'm just going to do it all over again. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Managed to save it, just about. Right. Let's do it on hards. I want to see if I can get this lap done on hards. I'm going to move the stick all the way out of the way because we're not going to stop the refueling. Right, away we go. Probably should have actually checked if there was any weather on the way before I did that, but thankfully there isn't. Nice apex there. Wow, okay, yeah, having more fuel on board really makes it hard to stop for that corner. I'm just going to check, what does my optimum say? My optimum is a 7:57, right? So that's kind of the target then. Once we get under 8 minutes, that's what we're kind of trying to aim to get. But isn't that crazy? That'll be 10 seconds faster than my first push lap. I'm still enjoying myself a little bit. Because now I realise that now I'm really deep into it. I'm into the grind now, basically. Done it again. Well, this lap's already a write-off. No, this lap is a complete write-off. Yeah, I'm still not that far off my personal best. Did they go an extra lap on their fuel, or they just piss on like the first lap or something like that? Oh my god, these hards. Like, why are worn hards actually easier to use? It's got to be to do with the fuel, about how much weight that's adding to the car. What am I doing, man? This is terrible, this lap. I hate the mini carousel. It's just such a bad corner. Oh yeah, that's a car I can see in the distance. I can't believe I'm actually about to lap someone. Nice, just really good effort that. Looks like a GTR. I just hope he's easy to pass. He doesn't hold me up on my next attempt at a sub 8 minute lap. It looks like he's been roughed around a bit on the back. That wasn't miss, hit, miss, that was just miss, miss, miss. It's just not an apex in sight around that corner. I really hope I can pass this Aston in a convenient place. Just checking he wasn't going to slipstream back past me. You are joking me. Oh, I'm never going to be able to set a sub 7 lap time here. Sorry, sub minute. What am I talking about? A sub 8 minute lap time. There we go, got the words out eventually. It was a nice spin though, I'll give myself some credit. Not a great prep for the next lap, but we'll roll with it. Absolutely sailing past it. I'm so bad. That was handbrake though, to get it round turn 2 there. I promise you I'm a good Gran Turismo player. I'm just not demonstrating it right now. could not have made that any more sketchy even if I tried. Come on, get it together. Just making stupid mistakes. It's different. It's not even like it's the same mistake, really. It's just a different mistake every lap. This is like it's about to lash it down, but it's not. It's just overcast. How? How am I doing? How am I going off on a straight? Oh, this is the worst lap I've ever done. This is worse than the lap where I just kept crashing, because this has just been slow. It looks like there's raindrops on my car, but I think it's just dirt. Not brilliant, but not terrible. But I've said that many times through that GP leap and then just completely mess it up on the Nordschleife. So slow, but at least I'm still on the track. I didn't lose the back end like last lap. No, oh, just throw away some time, why don't you? Brilliant, we're only 1/10 up now. Please get out of the way. He's going to hold me up so much through here. Oh, where are you going, Finn? Come on. I've gone off again. I've gone off again at the same place. What is going on? I just can't turn the car for that bit. I don't know why it won't turn in. Oh, I think I'm going to call after this lap. I can't do this anymore. I'm getting really frustrated with this now. The car just does not turn in like it used to. Yeah, we're gonna mid-session save after this lap. I can't do this. Alright, let me just go past the pit exit, because I don't really know. It's really buggy, this, as to where it actually resets you from. So, I'm just going to make sure I'm definitely past pit out before. Oh, that was interesting. I felt good in the midpoint of that stint, literally around lap 7, when I set my fastest lap. I was feeling alright, and then all of a sudden, on this new set of hards, I just can't get to grips with it. There's too many mistakes. But we're nearly 5 minutes in the lead after only, what is that, about 105 minutes of racing. We've still got 22 and a quarter hours to go. So yeah. But I just did that extra little bit because as soon as when I did the 8 hours of Spa, whenever I mid-session saved that, I think it bugged a little bit because of where the start line is obviously way before the actual pit exit, because the pit exit is up Radion, but then the timing line is out of the last chicane. But then you start the race on the straight before Eau Rouge. So I think the game kept bugging because whenever we did the rolling start to restart it, the AI always jumped the start because we'd technically crossed the timing line. But when you did the safety car restart, it was from the
start line before Eau Rouge. So the AI kept jumping the start, thinking that the race had restarted, but it hadn't. So it shouldn't be an issue for this track, because obviously the pit straight is where the pit lane is. So yeah, I should be fine. But anyway, for anyone watching, thank you for putting up with this. It was a bit of shambles at the end, but it's good progress, good knowledge for the rest of it. And I will be live streaming it soon, probably earliest will be tomorrow. I don't think I'll do any more today, but yeah, it depends. But yeah, I just need a break. So yeah, I will catch you in a bit.